Welcome to my version of First Things First. Nick writes quarter mountain. Now, my version is slightly different as it is not a rich tapestry. I do not care about what you did in the weeks prior. It is strictly this past week, nothing else. That's it, nothing else. That's it. Just this past week. Don't care what you did last year. Don't care how many trophies you won. Don't care what you did in college. Don't care what you did in high school. I don't care. I don't care how many MVPs you have. I don't care how many Super Bowls you have. It doesn't matter. I don't care what you did in week 1 or week 7. I only care what you did this last week. It's really simple. It's really straightforward. That way the quarterbacks actually can go up and down week to week. It's a lot more fun that way. And it was actually voted the most unbiased, the most accurate quarterback tiers in the NFL in all of sports talk out there. Pretty amazing. I appreciate it. Everyone in the comment section always tells me how amazing this mountain is. And they're always just like, dude, you gotta keep doing it. You gotta keep doing it. You're the best. You're the greatest. You're the best. Keep doing it. Come on, keep doing it. And I'm like, all right. I don't want to disappoint you all. I don't want to disappoint you. People write me emails. They write me letters. It's crazy. They leave me comments. It's thank you guys. Thank you. I do it all for you. But without further ado, let's jump into it. At the way tippy bottom we got as we're going. Oh ho. He didn't even, oh no. Sam Darnold, he tried his best. He fell into a hole. He was trying to climb the mountain, snorts, and he fell in a hole. So sorry, Sam, with those 4 interceptions, you put your team in a really bad situation. It's a bummer, but you're at the very, very bottom. You're so close, but you fell. But it's okay, because look, you're right next to that version of Patrick Mahomes. Remember of him cheering him and all fired up back when he was the king? But it's okay. Now at the true bottom, we got Lamar Jackson, J.J. McCarthy, Justin Herbert, Tua Tagovailoa, and Jared Goff. Now, as per usual, some of these quarterbacks, it's not like they did anything inherently wrong. It just is the way it goes. Mark Jackson certainly didn't have his best game. 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. A lot of not a lot there. Jared Goff, clearly not one of his better games. Again, he was dealing with pressure in his phase all game. But it was a rough one for him for sure. 37.8% completion percentage, 255 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Not his day. Not his day. Justin Herbert, that man also got rocked. It was also not his day by any stretch of the imagination. He did not have a good day either. He had 81 passing yards. That's not going to be good enough to win a football game. Although, to be fair, I do think Ani Unel threw for like 61 yards and beat the Kansas City Chiefs that one time. So I guess maybe sometimes it could be enough. It just wasn't enough against the Jags. A rough go at it. Yeah, and then you had J.J. McCarthy, who up until that final drive also did not have a lot going on before his final drive that ended up taking the lead. So credit to him. He was 10 for 24 for 74 yards, 3.1 yards per attempt, 0 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. So yeah, but to be fair, his team, his receivers also had a ton of drops. But he finished with 16 for 32, 50% completion percentage, 150 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. So, to be honest, all these guys at the bottom, Tua, Lamar, Jared, etc. Like I wouldn't say that I know Sam Darnold had 4 interceptions. That makes it feel like extra bad. But the reality is that Sam did finish the game. Where is it at? Where did he finish up with? He did have a 65.9% completion percentage, 279 yards. Again, it was 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So, you took the beating. Now the next level, it's going to start to get fun. Patrick Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence, Matthew Stafford. Huh? What, Baker? Baker could have been at the lower level. Probably should have put Baker even lower, but, especially considering he was going up against such a terrible team, terrible defense in the Buffalo Bills. It is what it is. And Jalen Hurts. We'll start with Jalen Hurts at the end. It's not like Jalen Hurts really did anything inherently wrong either. He had a few errant throws. He actually played pretty well considering what the game demanded of him. PFF actually had him as the 8th ranked quarterback. He had some nice plays with his legs. Again, there wasn't a whole lot to work with, but again, some of the quarterbacks above him, they just had more impressive games. So, it just is what it is. Baker Mayfield, listen, I don't think he did anything inherently wrong. He did have the interception, which was a rough one, kind of his typical style that he often does. Had the fumble. 57.1% completion percentage, 173 yards. It wasn't a great game. Obviously, it wasn't the worst game. I think his box score makes it look a little worse than what it was because I think he was pressured a bit. I think he did do a decent job considering the circumstances. I don't watch that game and just think like, oh wow, what a mess he was. He was actually only pressured 7 times, so he was actually surprisingly pretty well protected. But when there was not much to work with, he did scramble and, did well enough, but nothing great. Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford had a fascinating game because going up against an awesome defense, the Seattle Seahawks, and he did have 2 touchdowns, but short yardage. Um, 4 interceptions, as we established with Sam Darnold. And Stafford had a 53.6% completion percentage, 130 yards, 4.6 yards per attempt, and 89.9 passer rating. Again, it's a great defense, so why, you're not going to bury the guy, but just considering how many extra possessions the Rams really got cons, and he was technically part of that. And then Trevor Lawrence, it was 35 to whatever against against the Chargers, and they scored all these points. They dominated, and Trevor Lawrence himself, 63.6% completion percentage, 153 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Like, this Jags team is just so bonkers, and he had an 80.3 passer rating. He didn't do anything inherently wrong. The game dictated what they needed from him, but there was also plenty of missed opportunities, which the broadcast very well pointed out. Then none other than the Patrick Mahomes. Now listen, he went up against a great defense. He definitely had some errant throws. He was far from great in that game. He had one of the worst interceptions I've ever laid my eyes on. As Romo pointed out, as I think Nick would even agree. I mean, I still don't even really know what he was doing for that one. And he was just lucky that I wasn't a pick six and I called back. And then he threw another devastating interception in the red zone, scrambling. Listen, we've seen a few pretty wow, I can't believe you just threw that interception from Mahomes, from, Josh Allen. Those moments happen, but this was in a gotta have a moment off a bye against the Denver Broncos that apparently Mahomes owns, according to Nick. And yeah, man, just wasn't a great game. 64% completion percentage, 276 yards, 1 touchdown, the devastating interception. Yeah, it just, a 79.5 passer rating. You got outdoled by Bo Nix, who apparently has a trash quarterback. You gotta drop. Them's are the rules. And then now people are gonna be like, what is going on? Jacoby Brissett, my man, set the record with completions. He had 57 dropbacks and 57 passing attempts. That's insane. I don't know if I've ever really seen a straight drop back to pass attempt ratio. Usually it's always a quarterback drops back 35 times, but only passes the ball 30 times or something. He was 57 for 57. And he had 47 completion. He was asked to throw the ball 57 times, and he had 47 completions. 82.5% completion percentage. That is honestly pretty insane. I don't care who you're playing. I don't care who you're throwing. I don't care if it's Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Devontae. I don't care. Justin Jefferson. 82.5% completion percentage on 57 pass attempts. He threw for 452 yards. Yeah, he had a couple interceptions. When you throw the ball that many times, it's going to happen. Pretty insane. 96.8 passer rating. I mean, he's playing for the Arizona Cardinals, who are a bit of a mess. I mean, he's 32 years old. I don't know, man. Just deserve my respect for that one. Dak Prescott feasted off a terrible Raiders team. He had a whole boatload of touchdowns. At every single touchdown was wide open. Or it was a wide open pass that then Pickens just takes it in for the rest. Again, Dak played well. Dak played really good. He didn't do anything wrong. Again, it was what the game dictated for him. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Raiders are just a terrible team. Just is what it is. And then we got Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph coming off the bench, not really obviously playing with any degree of regularity. Aaron Rodgers goes down. He steps up 12 for 16, 75% completion percentage, 127 yards, 7.9 yards per attempt, and a touchdown. Coming in as a backup quarterback and doing that, it's really impressive. And a 118.5 passer rating. That's just not an easy thing to do. I'm sure as a backup to Aaron, you're going to be hyper alert. You're going to be hyper ready because, hey, that's an old quarterback. He tore his Achilles, but it's easier said than done. It really is. It's easier said than done. And so quarterback coming off the bench, I mean, look what Kirk Cousins did. Wasn't particularly great. So then, you got to give credit where credit is due. To put it in perspective, Kirk Cousins came in. He had 6 completions on 14 attempts on 42.9% completion percentage, 48 yards, 3.4 yards per attempt, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a 52.1 passer rating. Just so we're clear. So yeah, it's pretty impressive what Mason Rudolph did. Make no mistake about it. And that's why it's fun to go week to week, because then we can have someone like Mason Rudolph randomly appear. Jordan Love was actually the highest rated, the offensive rating for PFF. Again, it was a weird game against the Giants. He threw for only 174 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, had an absolute beautiful pass. 13 for 24. I think it was just a good game from Jordan. Again, nothing crazy, but he just made some really snorts high-level throws. And considering what's been going on with this team right now, the Giants have also been quite feisty. Again, I think you can have an impressive game, especially considering the circumstances that were put on his shoulders and what was asked of him in that game, dealing with injuries and dealing with the O-line problems and lack of consistent run support. And yeah, I just think all in all, a handful of his throws, a handful of the plays that he need to made, just were really impressive. And so that's why I got him up there. Then we got, what is going on here? We got Bryce Young parachuting in there right now. We got Michael Penix. We got Brock Purdy, and we got Caleb Williams. Michael Penix was actually playing brilliant until he got knocked out of that game. I mean, he was 13 for 16, okay? 81.3% completion percentage, 175 yards, 10.9 yards per attempt, was having one of his best games, and the man gets knocked out. Had a 112.2 passer rating. It's a bummer. It's a bummer for Penn. Now, I think he's going to be out for the season with his injury, or I assume it'll be out for the season. And then Brock Purdy, bro, everyone's saying M. Jones is here to stay. We don't need Brock Purdy. And what does he do? Comes in there with a 73.1% completion percentage, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, 7.7 yards per attempt, 133.5 pass rating, and said, will you guys all relax? I'm the quarterback. I'm the starter. Stop the madness. Stop the madness. Then we had Caleb Williams, who's at the top of this mountain with a 68.9 passer rating. You're like, oh, what is that? The dude had 193 yards and a 50% completion percentage, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. How could he be up there? It's because you got to watch the games. It's why you got to watch the game. You can't just go box score hunting. Caleb actually played really well. Again, the game was not built around him. It was definitely built around the run game, but there were many moments when that game could have gotten blown up, where it could have just been like, oh, you're done. Up against a great defense, division rival, Minnesota Vikings. Again, JJ obviously was not playing great, but Caleb with his legs, as Danlowski put it, he's becoming a problem solver. It was actually a really impressive game regardless of what the score showed. Which is why a game like this, I was more impressed. This is why I was like unmoved by his game against the Dallas Cowboys, for instance, when he torched them and threw for, 300 plus yards or whatever. It ended up being 1 million touchdowns. Like, he's throwing a wide open receivers all game. Nothing about this is impressive to me. This game was more impressive to me, even though he went 16 for 32 and a 50% completion percentage, right? And had no touchdowns. This game was more impressive to me. Showed way more composure. And then again, we got Bryce Young. He's in his nice little parachute. And then there, we'll just jump to Bo Nix and Drake May. But Bryce Young, I mean, I don't know, man. His career is kind of hanging on by a thread. I mean, who really feels comfortable and confident about Bryce Young? And he goes 31 for 45, 68.9% completion percentage, 448 yards. Would have had the most yards if it wasn't for Jacoby Brissett with 452, who threw the ball 57 times. 3 touchdowns. I mean, 123.2 passer rating. Just really impressive. I don't know. It's what are you supposed to do with this man? So that's why he's parachuting in, because it's just like, he's like, don't worry, guys. I'm still here. Don't worry. I mean, because like, he's a number 1 overall pick that no one talks about. He threw for 448 yards and 3 touchdowns. And nobody talked about it. Think about it. It was not on any of the shows. First things first, didn't talk about it. The Herd didn't talk about it. I'm like, was it on Get Up or NFL Live? Or, I mean, like, First Take, everyone's talking about this. He was the first over, number 1 overall pick, and it just like doesn't matter. It's crazy. So shout out to Bryce Young. Happy for you. And I don't know what the Panthers do. And then we got Bo Nix and Drake May. Listen, this is where it's interesting, because snorts Drake May had played awesome. It was against the Jets. They're not a good team, but the plays that Drake May made were pretty unbelievable. He had a collection of plays where it doesn't matter who you're playing. It doesn't matter what defense you're facing. It was high size, high level ball. 73.5 completion percentage. She was 25 for 34, 281 yards, 8.3 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown, and a 107.6 passer rating. But again, that box score doesn't do it justice. Some of the it's like some of the plays that he made, some of the scrambles and tosses, you're just like, I'm watching brilliance right now. Under normal circumstances, like if he didn't have a handful of those plays where you're just like, what am I watching? And he just had that box score and had that success and beat the Jets, like he would have been lower because I would have like, that was kind of straightforward, but it was the quality of play. And then you got big money Boix. I was tempted to put him at the top because it was such a huge game, obviously, against the Kansas City Chiefs, and this was the game-winning drive with a massive third down conversion throwing on the run. Then the throw to, I think it was Franklin, to then set them up for the game-winning field goal again against the Kansas City Chiefs, where everyone's chirping, saying that Bo Nix is a problem. He's not good enough, and off Andy Reid and Spags and the Chiefs off a bye. I mean, he outdueled Patrick Mahomes. Just an awesome game. 24 for 37, 64.9% completion percentage, 295 yards, 8 yards per attempt. Again, another really high level game. And I was tempted to put B next to the top. And if it wasn't for literally the most insane monster in the entire NFL, the greatest quarterback in the NFL, the top dog, the best, the unstoppable, the beast, the monster, the alien, Josh Allen. It's so funny to me that people really have the audacity to try to pretend like what Josh Allen did in that game against the Bucs is nothing. That they want to point out some missed throws or the interceptions. When you realize what Josh Allen is asked to do, what his defense was giving up, and the fact that he is the only quarterback in the Super Bowl era to throw for 3 touchdowns and rush for 3 touchdowns, and he's done it twice, okay? He's the only actual quarterback in the modern era to do it, and he's done it twice. I mean, it's just so insane. He had 317 passing yards, 19 for 30, 10.6, 6 yards per attempt, 3 touchdowns, no sacks, and a 104.4 passer rating. And he had 6 carries for 40 yards and 3 touchdowns. He had that scramble run for the touchdown pass to Shavers, a 43-yard long to people that no one even knows. Okay, his top receivers were Shavers, James Cook, and Ty Johnson. Okay, that's what he had to work with. It's just remarkable what Josh Allen continues to do. It's why there is really only one Josh Allen. Everyone is so quick, they're trying to pretend like Baker's up there or what, and you're just like, it's just not. And people say like, oh, Caleb Williams reminds me of Josh Allen. It's like, no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Even Drake May, people like, oh, Drake May is like Joe. And no, he's not. Josh Allen is one of one. It just is what it is. He's a monster. So he is at the top. This is just my mountain right now. Yeah, it's, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be upset with, I'm sure lots of people are going to be upset with lots of things as per usual. But, I mean, I feel maybe this is because I'm recording this right after the Cowboys-Raiders game, but people are going to be like, why is Dak not higher? Like what did he end up finishing with? 268 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a 138.6 passer rating. And it was like, man, that was an easy game for them. No doubt. And I mean, the Cowboys, in typical Cowboys fashion, are celebrating, hugging the goalpost. The Schanheimers, like, dancing on the sideline, like, bro, you're beating the Raiders. Okay, the 2-8 Raiders. Like, what do you see? Why are you guys acting like you're winning the Super Bowl? I'll talk about that later, but it's just, God, come on, man. What are you doing here? What are we doing here? I'm sure people will also be upset about Stafford, but it's like, he didn't have to do much. It just is what it is. Jalen Hurts is down there too. They both had, didn't have to do much in their games necessarily, but for different reasons in a lot of ways. Sam Darnold was, I don't know if he was at the top or top 3 last, where I had him last week, and he's in a literal hole right now. Right? That's how it works. The mountain is harsh, but it's honest. It's honest, and it can be forgiving, right? Putting Michael Penix up there, putting Purdy up there, Jacoby Brissett, Mason Rudolph. If you just want the same collection of top quarterbacks at the top of the mountain and top of the ranking, I mean, go watch another video. That's not what it's going to be here. We're here to have some fun. We're here to have some conversations. We're here to get a little weird to put Mason Rudolph above Matthew Stafford and Patrick Mahomes right now. Yeah, because he played better. He had to do more for his team. He did well. And that's the way it works. That's the way it works. He's above Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts. Just the way it is. Just the way it is. Justin Herbert's been carrying that team, carrying the Chargers. He had a game where he couldn't carry them. He's at the bottom. Josh Allen at the top. Bo Nix number 2. I'm sure some people would want Bix at number 3, but it's like, again, he played great against the Kansas City Chiefs, but yeah, Josh Allen's got to be at the top for this one. You get 3 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns. I don't know. And really the only other quarterback to kind of come close to that right now, especially this season, was Boone Nix, who I called Josh Allen White. Someone made fun of me for that. It hurt my feelings until you realize how in the fourth quarter, Bo Nix had 2 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns. And he became the first NFL player to achieve 2 or more passing touchdowns and 2 or more rushing touchdowns in a single quarter, which is almost like Josh Allen. So it's almost like he's maybe a Josh Allen light. It's almost like the take is slowly aging, not so badly. We'll see. We will see. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about my first things first, Nick Red's Mountain, my Allen's Alpine? It is Allen's Alpine this week. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.